About a year ago, I made a video talking about the evolution of adult cartoons. To sum it up, I mentioned a few cartoons that were differentiating from the usual episodic comedic style. Okay, well, some were still just that, but with a twist. Basically, these cartoons are nothing like Family Guy or The Simpsons. Harley Quinn was the only example I gave of an adult cartoon that wasn't episodic. It was story-driven, with no filler episodes, and that's something we've never had in adult animation. Plenty of times in series geared towards kids, no matter how mature they may seem, but a first for adults. And no matter how great you think BoJack Horseman is, it does have quite a few skippable episodes. It is not story-driven. It is a dramedy with an overarching story. Big difference. There was still an alarming issue with adult cartoons. All of them were comedies. Infinity Train is geared towards kids, but it's certainly far from a comedy. So when will us adults get it? When will we finally have an animated series that will change it all? The show that'll become... Oh, that was abrupt. We made it, guys. As I'm making this video, people still can't stop talking about Invincible, and it's been 2 months since the finale. We finally have that adult cartoon that isn't a comedy, isn't episodic, and is mature. And not mature as in, hey, look at all this crude humor and violence, but mature in its themes. I'll admit, the first episode caught me off guard. Your basic backstory about a teenager who's learning how to be a hero isn't anything new. But once we got to the final 10 minutes, that's when everything changed. Oh, don't worry, there will be no spoilers. Now, the show is still violent, but not in a shocking way. The violence is necessary to show you how dire the situation is. The series also has cursing, but that's not what makes this for adults. The main theme of Invincible is heroism, what it means to be a hero. Is there really one way to be a hero? Can a hero even be a good judge of character? This isn't just explored through our protagonist Mark, but also the side characters. They're only human after all. How could they have all the answers? Why should they think they have all the answers? Is it power? Who has the most knowledge? Can you really trust a hero, and can a hero trust themselves? It kinda gives the title of the show Invincible more of a heavy meaning. Even if they're all powerful, no one can truly be invincible, right? Yeah, it's a lot, but thankfully we have 2 more seasons confirmed to get all of our questions answered. Other things about the show is its awesome soundtrack. You're talking to someone who listens to mostly alternative rock and indie, so you know I was downloading a new song every single episode. The art is pretty standard for an American comic book adaptation, but the animation really picks up during the fight scenes, especially the more violent ones. I also really like how each episode was over 40 minutes long. That kind of time frame is usually saved for live-action TV shows, so I'm glad Amazon Studios gave Invincible the chance to push the boundary. I don't know how accurate of an adaptation this was, but according to the comic book readers, it was exceptionally well done. I truly hope this paves the way for more non-comedic story-driven adult animation. Oh, Jesus Christ, that was a tongue twister. Why did I write that? We've seen how successful it is with kids, so let's bring more of that to the older guys. I just hope we don't have to wait too long. Well... I failed to mention Castlevania in my previous adult animation video. It's everything I said the industry needed, right? Mature, non-comedic, and story-driven. So what's the deal? This might sound a little childish, but I never considered it an adult cartoon, but more of an anime. What can I say, a fair amount of Castlevania animators have worked on anime, like the Berserk films, Death Parade, and Vampire Hunter D. But I guess I was being too technical. After all, it wasn't made by a Japanese studio. So, let's talk about it. The first season was shocking to say the least. It started off with a 2-minute charming romance only to end with a shocking gore scene of eye-pulling, gut-spilling, and bodies splattering like pancakes. Not gonna lie, all the gore in Castlevania is over the top. But this is a dark supernatural fantasy, so what do you expect? You see the color palette, this isn't exactly The Princess Bride. Things are bleak, depressing, and humanity is standing on their last legs. So it's up to a drunken vampire hunter, a sorcerer, and Edward Cullen to kill Dracula. Fantasy series for adults isn't a new thing. It's been done a ton of times in live action, most recently with The Witcher. But what if we had an animated dark fantasy adult animation? That's why we have Castlevania. It's not groundbreaking in the sense that it's super deep, but honestly refreshing, and something we've desperately been needing. Also, the voice acting is phenomenal. Way too many times we get a show that takes place in Europe and everyone has a British accent. But in Castlevania, you have Romanian, German, Celtic, Nordic, even African accents. It really makes the show more authentic. This is one of those animated shows that I've noticed a lot of millennials will watch with their parents. Heck, I have a friend who got her parents so into Castlevania that they even cosplayed with her. It's really nice to have a cartoon like Castlevania, and we better get more like it. Well, I heard a few things about Blood of Zeus, but not too much talk about it, so I don't know if it's any good. But I guess the demand for more dark fantasy adult cartoons is showing. When you get the chance, make sure you check out my Evolution of Adult Cartoons video, if you want to hear me talk about shows like The Midnight Gospel, Solar Opposites, and more. I'd like to give a very special shout out to Sarah Hogan for donating to my Patreon. If you'd like a very special shout out in the next video, stream, or what have you, then please click on the Patreon link in the description to donate, as well as links to my social media. Sayonara.